I've had a few questions based around my views and opinions on the mainstream medical provision, let's call it, from the NHS regarding motor neuron disease in the UK, and asking why am I so down on them, okay? Well, there's a lot of people within the NHS who I've found with MND really caring people, but completely tied in terms of what they can do and what they can say to somebody with our diagnosis. There's no positivity. It goes straight to a sort of palliative care approach, which obviously has a place and a role to play, but from the day you're told your diagnosis to the day you take your last breath, I think there's a lot of variables that you can have some input in. So I don't like the "there's nothing we can do" approach, because I think there is. Do I think that there's a cure? No. Do I think there will be a cure? Who knows? But for example, if some study shows promise today in a phase 2 or 3 trial, the amount of money that's going to have to get thrown at that, and then for it to be further developed, then released and approved as a treatment or product, then accessed by the individual sufferer. If that happened today, I genuinely think you're 15-20 years away from that making it to people with MND. So from where I'm at, I mean, it's good that people are funding it, it's good that people are looking at it, but what's that going to do for me? I'll tell you, that's going to do absolutely nothing whatsoever to help me in any way. Is that selfish of me to not be thinking about people in 50 years' time? I've been quite a helpful, selfless person most of my life, I'd like to think so. Right now with this diagnosis, what I've learned, what I believe and what I stand by is we've all got to help ourselves a little bit, because nobody's going to do it for you. And that's not as easy for everybody. It's not easy for me. But one of the reasons for the project is to present some ways, some methods, some treatments, some philosophies, ideas, to just take you a little bit outside of the negativity that can consume you while you're slowly using the use of everything you've got used to all your life. So I don't want to be too negative about it, but for me, that's out of my control. If they get busy and they find a cure, brilliant. However, the amount of red tape that's put in place, I've sort of given up letting that occupy my time. I have read endless medical papers, and if anybody reads those sort of papers, you understand it can be so draining. leave you properly tired after reading them. And then you read one part of it, and you're like, oh, that's promising, that relates to that. And then 10 pages further down the line, you're like, all right, so that was promising earlier actually means nothing, and everything requires further studies. Further studies require further money. Completely out of my hands, completely out of my control. So I don't do that so much now. I do keep up to date with things that are going on, but I've seen them come and go. The other, an example of this is Tofferson. Tofferson has been developed and touted as a potential cure for around 2% of people with a specific gene which is causing their MND. That gene is SOD1. Now, that is administered monthly through a spinal injection into your spinal fluid. So doesn't take a long amount of time, but it's quite a skilled administration. So it obviously carries a cost. Now, I've got letters from people currently who have got SOD1, who have applied to be administered, to be given Tofferson, in the hope that they will reverse their symptoms and begin to live life with hope of a brighter future. And they're actually getting refused treatment. Why? Money. Simply money. It's simply resource and money. Now, at that stage, I want to start screaming and shouting, but I am not surprised. It doesn't surprise me. I wish that I was wrong in how I view it, but I know I know that I'm not, because it's proven to me regularly. Imagine, if you can, getting the worst news of your life, getting told you've got this MND, and then getting your head down that, and then getting told there's a cure and it could help you, and then getting refused it. Where do you go with that? There's nothing I cannot give my time to that sort of process. It's beyond me. I could let it get me properly angry, but instead we get into a project and we try and help in our own ways.